Hey guys! For my multimodal project, I wanted to bring some attention to how social media affects us in different ways. Specifically, the three things I'll be talking about is how it affects us physically, mentally, and emotionally. So as y'all know, we are the generation that grew up with all these different types of social media platforms. More and more apps are being created and they quickly shoot up due to just how many of us use them. I want you to pause real quick and just think of your morning routine. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? You grab your phone, right? But what's the first thing you check? Yeah, we check our texts and emails, but I can bet you that you spend more time than you need to in the mornings checking the latest posts on, let's say, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or other socials. I'm guessing you already know most of the pros and cons social media has to offer. I mean, it's basically all over the internet. But have you actually taken the time to really look into it? Let me explain as to why this can be harmful to us and our generation. So, Forbes had put out an article saying that the first issue with social media is that it's addictive, which is true. This means that our phones are probably the first thing we reach for when we wake up. We're scrolling through all the different posts, and what we see really does affect us, and it sets the tone for our mood for the rest of the day. But how can this impact us physically? Well, let's think about it. Whenever we reach for our phones to catch up on what's going on around us, you're probably doing it in a setting where you aren't really being that active. This just means that we're sitting in one place as time flies past us while we're just sitting and scrolling. That alone isn't really healthy for us and our bodies. Number 2, ask yourself if you always feel good after looking at everything you just saw. Are you obsessing over certain pictures, wishing your life could be like that? Wishing you looked like someone, or wishing that you had something that they did that you didn't? As time goes by, the more we look at something, it'll actually subconsciously create doubt, low self-esteem, greed, jealousy, and more, which affects our mental state. Did you also know that a lot of eating disorders and body issues stem from social media and who we choose to follow and what we see? Crazy, right? Now, I'm not saying that this is the case for everyone, but it does affect a lot of people our age. Forbes stated it really well by saying, when you're constantly exposed to idealized versions of other people's lives, it can be difficult not to compare your life to theirs, even when they aren't realistic depictions. We judge ourselves in comparison to others, and it's terrible for our mental health. Psychologists have found evidence linking social media usage to body image concerns. Not only does this affect us mentally, but it'll take an emotional toll on us too. Even if it isn't comparing yourself to someone you see online, what about the news that circulates around the internet? You read and update yourself on all the world events, and have you ever noticed that it impacts your mood, then just it throws your entire day off? Now, I'm not here to say what we should and shouldn't do. That isn't my objective. My objective for this multimodal project is to hopefully get you all thinking on how what we see affects us. You always hear people say stuff like, "You are what you eat." The saying is that we should be mindful of what we put into our bodies. But let's think in terms for our mental health. What you see on social media is essentially you putting things into your mind. So be mindful, be careful, and just be aware that what we look at on a daily basis can and will affect us on so many different levels.